Industrial properties can buy or bye. Hi, my name is Alan from LV Property. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about industrial properties. Many of you here have asked me to do a review on industrial properties. Finally, Alan is going to talk about non-residential properties. For the start, I'll briefly talk about the overall industrial properties in Singapore in the past 10 to 20 years. I'll also compare them against their different tenure. And lastly, I will compare them with condos and landed properties to give it some context. A disclaimer here before we proceed. This is only an overview of the industrial property price movement. There are both winners and losers in any specific industrial properties. So please do your own research to find out more. Here, you are really in for another free buffet treat because all these data have never been shared so openly before. If there are any, I don't think you will understand them because they are too cheap to understand. For my research, if you know me well, is always on the ground. I don't do desktop research. I walk the ground all because of you. So please help me to share, like and subscribe to this channel. Anyway, I can't see who likes or subscribe. Without further ado, let's head over to the performance of industrial properties from 2003. For the data, I will only use resale industrial transactions in all districts regardless of their tenure, size and age. This is the historical graph of industrial properties performance from 2003 to 2023. Back in 2003, the average price was 188 per square feet. Price gradually increased with economic activities and hit a high of 483 per square feet in 2023. This translates to 157% increase in the past 20 years. However, if you look at the graph closely between 2010 to 2023, there was a huge surge in prices. This caught the attention of Workers' Party and ex-NCMP Yee Jin-jong. He made a budget speech in 2012 addressing the rising industrial rent faced by SMEs and how big players have played a part in pushing up industrial rental. Coincidentally, after the debate on rising industrial costs, JTC/industrial land tenure cut to 30 years as mentioned in this Property Guru article. The Ministry of Trade and Industry announced that the minimum occupation period for industrial site under the government land sale program was shortened to 30 years to make industrial properties more affordable and improve the government flexibility for land redevelopment. Today, I hardly see any 60-year site released by JTC that allowed subdivision. If there are any, they are mainly 30 years, such as iSpace in Boon Lay to Mega at Woodlands. These are all projects that were launched easily more than a decade ago. If you still don't believe me, let's take a look at JTC land available for sale. Most recently, JTC released a B2 industrial site for sale along Woodland Avenue 8. This land has a lease period of only 30 years. Why 30 years? Well, this is to discourage speculation and to prevent the buyer from flipping it upon TOP. This also helps to keep the land cost low for end users. In the tender brief, there is also a restriction period placed on the strata subdivision. This means the buyer cannot cut the unit into smaller units and put them up for sale. Back to the data from 2013 to 2023. As previously mentioned, the previous high was 490 per square feet in 2013. Prices start to remain flat after the introduction of seller stamp duty for industrial properties in January 2013. The SSDIs follow 15% within 1 year, 10% between 1 and 2nd year, and 5% after more than 2 years. This SSD was introduced to curb runaway prices which occurred from 2010 onwards, when there was a huge surge in prices. This is partially due to the proliferation of strata title industrial units that are flipped for the quick profit by investors, thus pushing up the prices for end user. This is similar to what happened to new launch condo. When there is a new launch selling at a much higher price, the surrounding resale condominiums prices will generally go up too. This is simple 101 economics. Prices took a dip when economic activity slowed down during COVID-19, when business closed down. This was the best opportunity to pick up distressed factories at attractive valuation in 2020. So next time, if you are an investor looking into this segment, always pay close attention to the economy. Sad to say, someone pain is someone else's gain. Subsequently, prices gradually pick up when economic activity resumed with the reopening. Prices reached 483 per square feet today. Can it further go up? I think many depend on the Singapore economy. However, I would say many residential investors have started to turn their attention to industrial properties because there is no ABSD. Is this a good move? For those who have committed to an industrial properties for investment, you would like to share your thoughts here with me. Back to the tenure. Are you keen to know how industrial properties perform based on their different tenure? Freehold and 999 years industrial appreciate by 232% as compared to 90, 60 and 30 years industrial space at 151%. This clearly shows that freehold properties maintain its price better over time. Here, these are some old freehold properties transacted back in 2003. They range from Aljunied Industrial Complex to Jun Seng Warehouse. I doubt many of you even know where are they. Some of them could have already gone en bloc. Those that have bought these freehold assets back then would have profited tremendously. Back to 2013 to 2023 data, both freehold and 99 years industrial properties remain pretty flat. Why is this so? Let me take a look at their data closer. These are some examples of freehold industrial properties that were sold way back in 2013. Some of them are relatively new projects such as 9 at Targo to 1 Bemimpin. They are mainly located in Upper Thomson, Shun Fu, Tai Seng and other small pockets around Singapore. On the other hand, Midview City, Vega Towers to Vertex are 60 years factory favoured by investors. We will talk more about them in detail in later videos. Here, I can only sum up that freehold and 99 years industrial properties do not see a significant increase in prices in the past decade. Although 99 years factories have to live with a shorter lease with each passing year. In conclusion, what better way to understand industrial properties is to compare them against the performance of condo and landed properties during the same period. In this way, it will give us an idea how well have they been doing over the past decade. This is the historical chart of the three segments from 2003 to 2023. We can see that industrial has achieved 157% appreciation, whereas condo has achieved a modest return at 213%. Landed as usual has outperformed by 325%. The poor performer could be due to the shorter and depreciating lease found in most leasehold industrial properties. If I compare them with data from 2013 or 10 years ago, industrial prices remain relatively flat, which is in line with the introduction of SSD and industrial land tenure cut to 30 years. This means speculation demand has been curbed. However, there is still no ABSD imposed on this segment, unlike residential properties. Will investors swing their funds into this segment? Will you invest in industrial properties? Is this sector underperforming? Are there still upside to it? Frankly, I don't know. I leave it to the experts here to share and comment. Here, I've come to the end of this video. Hope you enjoy it and see you around soon.